This was like the very beginning of my art career. I didn't even do murals at the time that I like went there, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. So definitely a goal. I definitely want to do more murals like around the U.S., not just in Charlotte. Your early 20s are traumatic because you make them that way. And for me, mine were extremely traumatic. Like when my life trajectory didn't go the way that my friends was going, they were again getting those jobs, they were getting married, they were having kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like a hard record scratch. What is going on here? Like this is not my path, and I need to figure out what my path is.
Welcome to the Humble Brag Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jeremy McKellar, and this year we are so excited to partner with one of the premium beard and personal grooming products around, Sauce. Fellas, if you need your beard and your personal grooming experience to be taken to another level, tap in with Sauce and all of the amazing products that they have. Link below, use the promo code HumbleBrag, and we hope that you enjoy the show. Much love, family. Peace.
Welcome. We
What's
back.
happening? What's happening? We are back.
Hey, season 2.
Season 2.
It's a blessing, man, for sure.
For real.
They say nothing in life comes easy, though.
And that's one thing I realized, man. When we first came up with the idea of doing this whole podcast thing, it was one of those things like, it was just like an idea we threw out on the table. But then once we really got into it, I was like, man, this is like a full-time job. Committed every Sunday or Monday, whatever day we decided to record. And we definitely do.
Shout out to everybody that's been supporting, man.
For real. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for subscribing.
And we're growing. We're trying to give people different platforms to come on and speak.
And
share about wine, and it's all good, man.
It's all good. It's love.
It's good.
We loving it.
We're loving it.
Sure.
So, who we got today?
Man.
The infamous.
No.
Kalin Devone. Yeah.
Yes.
Kalin Devone. Say that name. Kalin Devone.
It's a great name. It's a great name.
It has a role to it.
It sounds like you paid something. You know what I'm saying?
My parents knew I was gonna. They knew I was gonna need it.
You got Picasso in your house.
A K-Casso.
I like For those that don't know, Kalin Devone, she is based here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And hails from Wilmington, North Carolina. Shout out. So North Carolina family in the building. Is a painter, and I'll allow her to express more about her specific like focus areas. But yeah, we love all of the work that you've done. I've seen your work around the city. You've done some amazing work for different people, such as the Hornets, the PGA Tour. You've traveled around the United States and now the country and the world. So, man, we're glad to have you on.
Thank you.
And real quick, I feel like it's so dope. I feel like I'm branching out. You know, now she better have me going looking at art. And I'm like,
everybody needs to look at art.
Is this a K-pop cut? I'm gonna give her a call and be like, hey, what you think about this?
What you think about this?
Should I go on my back?
That's cool. So we're glad to have you on.
Thank you.
If you want to share anything about yourself, feel free to.
But I'm just happy to be here. This is one of the first opportunities I've had to kind of talk about me and my art in a while. I've been like so tunnel vision on like projects and getting stuff done. Like I haven't really made time for it, but so much has happened since the last time I've talked. People probably don't even know what my voice sounds like because I never talk, you know? So it's just feels good to kind of be back.
That's good. Give me a platform. They got to see the people behind the
I will say this, if you ever need like, you know, if you have a lot of paintings and art that you're showing, you need a voiceover. He's the man.
I'm gonna keep that in mind.
He has that voice that put you straight to sleep, but it's nice.
The soothing voice. Soothing voice.
I like it.
That's what we're talking about, fellas.
Glad to have you on today.
Okay, wait. We gotta explain it. For everybody who's new to the podcast.
Okay.
You know, because season 2, we got some new viewers for sure. Yeah. We saw the uptick. And by the way, speaking of that, the more we grow our channel, we're doing a big giveaway when we hit 1,000 subscribers. I mean, a big giveaway.
A big giveaway.
It may be a nice case of wine. It may be a Sakai or something like that, which y'all may not know what that is, but it's a ticket. It's a ticket.
I know. So it's very important that you participate and just be a part of the THP family. Yeah. We're trying to build a community of people, not just onesie twosies, but really locking in with us and following our guests, man, because we got some amazing people. We want to give them their flowers. So, and definitely how we are cracking it off today, man. What's this? This is the Smith and Hook. Smith and Hook. So we are a wine podcast, whiskey podcast as well. But today we want to start off with a Cabernet Sauvignon. Smith and Hook is actually from, I want to say, the Hall Vineyards.
Yeah.
It's based on the Central Coast out on the West Coast, Napa Valley. This is a great full body wine. When I say full body, we're talking about rich, lots of flavors. It has high alcohol content.
Sure does. I saw that. I'm like, whoa.
So you gotta go a little bit easy on this. What is it?
If somebody starts talking a lot, y'all know why. You know?
This wine already hit me.
I get the whip. But anyway.
The good thing too about Smith and Hook, so they're through the Hall family, Craig Hall and Catherine Hall. They actually started off in real estate and in investing, and then they went and bought a plot of land in Napa Valley, and now they're like one of the more premier wines. And so Smith and Hook, this is pretty good. We're gonna taste it out though. So
real quick, the way we do it is we always get it. We get the wine. We get a whiff of it, sniff, smell test. You let us know what you smell. It'd be totally different. Our noses what we all found out that all of our noses are different. Some noses can point it out. Some noses can't smell anything. But, we do a little smell test, so we'll go ahead and do that.
Oh yeah, you gotta twirl it too, man.
You gotta twirl it. Yep, hit them with the twirl,
that's so you get the aromas.
We call that a little hurricane.
Hurricane.
Smell that. All right, I smell oak.
Okay.
You smell oak?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what that was. So it's like a deep smell.
Blackberries.
Deep smell.
I don't smell blackberries.
What you smell?
I don't know.
I smell wine. Nah, but see, that's the thing. And I think the really cool thing is, as we started drinking more and more wine, we've actually started getting different notes as we go. And so like we did use an aerator today. Like it's not one that you actually pour into, the aerator itself. It's one that you actually just put into the bottle and you pour it. So it creates bubbles, which airs it out and gets some full flavor. So it's funny because smelling it now, and if we just smelled it, if we just opened the bottle and poured it, it may be a different smell.
Look, I'm maturing when it comes to wine because I used to be, and I say used to be, this is not that long ago. Okay, I used to be one of those people that like, oh, that's a nice bottle. Okay, that one looks good. That one, and I would just pick it based on how it looked because I don't know, like I'm gonna try whatever, but now I'm trying to be a little more picky with what I like, so I know what I like. So
you gotta start somewhere. We're the same way. We do we used to do the same thing, and we started using this app called Vivino, which kind of
heard about that.
So shout out to them because that helps us out tremendously. Like at least we know, like, okay, this is a good wine. Right?
Yeah. So anything that's rated 4 and above on a scale from 0 to 5, 4 and above is what you want to do.
I think that's with anything.
Facts. So my wine journey was a little different. Obviously, I didn't really drink wine before the podcast started airing, but now that I do drink wine.
You have been drinking a lot of wine.
I have been. So
what's your favorite one, man?
Buckshot, man.
We had that on season 1. Check it out. New review.
So now when I go to like Harris Teeter or any wine store, I'm kind of like taking my time to pick what it is that I want to drink. Before I would usually look for cheaper, but that's not always the best, obviously. So now, like, I'm kind of on the high shelf and mid shelf and up, you know. So
yeah.
You gonna give us
that call?
Yeah, I actually did call Jerm. I'm like, yeah, should I get on Shack or Buckshot?
But see,
Shack or Buckshot.
My favorite is still Dow. I love it.
Dow. Buckshot.
It's a different taste for you. We got different notes. But okay, so that was a smell test. So we did that. So now we already swirled it. You know, give it a little light swirl, and then give it a taste. Let us know. Hey, before we do it,
what's up? Season 2.
Season 2. Thank you for being the first guest.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's good. What you think?
I can taste the oak for sure.
Definitely. Oh, it's a deep smell.
But like the taste, like you can tell it was like aged long, a little bit longer in the barrel. And like,
it's rich. It's got a juicy taste.
It's good, yeah.
That's crazy.
Love that. Shout out to Hook and Smith. Or Smith and Hook.
It has a good aftertaste. It has like a, you ever had like a bad wine and after you drink it, it just, this taste that sits there is just not good. This one has a good kind of feel.
Okay, good.
No. I would have put this glass down real quick.
Yeah. We should have been like, no.
Yeah.
A good one today.
Yeah.
So that's dope then. Let's get right into it.
Jump into it, man.
Man.
I'm excited. I'm smart. You know what I'm saying?
We can take this conversation so many different ways.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I think that one, because you got a lot of things going on now, and we can talk about those things. But let's talk about like from the beginning.
Oh Lord.
Let's go to the beginning of like what really inspires you to become a painter. Just your real authentic self of like, man,
this is me.
I wanted to paint, you know, and then you can also talk about your specific area because I know there's different things, oil paintings and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I've always been into art, like, ever since I was a child. I think you know what you want to do. When people say, like, oh, I don't know, they know. There was never a time I can think of that I didn't like art or want to do arts and crafts or, like, anything like that. Like, my mom was really into art when she was younger, and she, you know, kind of swapped out being an artist for being a parent because she had me and my sister when she was really young. So, but I think that still came through with the activities she would have us doing. She would buy us those little like make it yourself things. And I was like, yes, like, I was so excited. You know, another kid would be like, I want a video game. I'm like, no, give me some construction paper and some colored pencils. And I'd be so happy. But I think I always knew. And then I went to school for art. So I went to UNC Charlotte. And when I started, I was set that I was going to be an illustrator. I was like, this is what I want to do. I didn't know there were so many options. First of all, I didn't even know you could go to school for art. And then as I was applying, because I just knew I had to get up out of Wilmington, I was like, art? Okay. Let me go. And like my parents, neither of them had gone to college at the time. So they didn't know to steer me in like a certain direction. So they're like, yeah, as long as you're getting up out of here, like, cool, when you leaving? So I applied, I got in, I wanted to be an illustrator, but I had like one painting class. And I will never forget, like, her name's Maya. She's an artist here in Charlotte. She's one of my like most favorite people. I will always remember her. I saw her at a gallery this past weekend and she's like, I'm so proud of you. But she was like, you're a painter. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm here for illustration. And she was like, no, you're a painter. And then after that, I just kept taking painting classes, and I started getting better and better. And I was like, okay, I am a painter. And that's kind of how like I stuck with it.
Wow, that's crazy. So when you say getting better at painting, like we can say getting better at like sports by like, okay, I can backpedal better or break forward faster. But when you say get better at painting, like what are the things that define you as getting better? So is that contour lines or whatever?
I think there's a lot that goes into it. I don't think I knew what kind of artist I wanted to be at that time. So I was really just pushing paint around a canvas like, oh yeah, this is cool. Let me get a good grade on this test. Like, I'll go into, you know, art school in a whole different conversation, but like, I didn't know what I was doing. But I can see my progression from now into like from then till now. And it was like, I would get better with proportions or like composition or you know, paint application. Like, y'all, my friends hate me because I'm always like, ooh, paint application. We're in the gallery. I'm like, paint application.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that is kind of for me how I recognized that I was getting better. It was like, it just looked cleaner and cleaner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And every time I would have a show and my mom would come, she'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't think it could get any better, but it's better. And I'm like, okay, I'm going in the right direction. So
yeah. What was it? You talked about different shows and things. What was like the first thing that you said your work was recognized by people, or it was recognized in a certain medium that you were like, man, you know, I need to keep going on with this? What was the first thing for you? Whether it was at school and you know, or in Charlotte, or if it was back home, you know, what was that first thing for you that you were like, hey, this is pretty cool? I
think there's so many different chapters of me as an artist. Yeah. I think I did like one self-portrait in high school. Yeah, and in high school, they only allowed me to take one art class the whole time I was there because they kept pushing like AP classes on me because I kept getting good grades. They're like, no, we're going to put you in this AP class. I'm like, no, but I want to do art. Yeah. And they're like, no, AP science, AP history, AP, like, I was like, no, but I only had that one class. So in that one class, I did this portrait that my mom even has like to this day. And it was really, really good. I look at it now and it was better than people I was going to art school with. And I was like, whoa, it's crazy that I could like do that at like 17 because I graduated high school when I was 17. So like that's kind of how I knew like, if I don't go to school for this, I can just kind of throw it away.
Well, what made that portrait so special?
I don't know. I think it was like I had a really great art teacher. I had been deprived from art classes for so long that it was like, this is my time to shine. Like this is what I've been wanting to do. Like I just really want to sit in the corner and draw all day. So now I'm like getting graded to do it. So I might as well do it really well. So
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think also I like to think about art as like the greatest compliment to life. And also it's like one of the biggest starring actors in life too. I mean, cause you're able to showcase what's going on and put a story around things, and put it in a medium that people can understand. Yeah. And that has multiple applications to it. Yeah. So like for you growing up, you know, how do you think that helped you? Because when you're talking about art, you're not just doing art, it actually helps you in other areas of life though, right? Am I wrong? Or I may be wrong. You know, you can give a little bit of like thought to that. Yeah. But I feel like the expression of art helps you with understanding other things. You said you were grading your different AP classes and things like that. How did that like translate, or you know, or what's your understanding of that?
I just feel like I see things a lot differently. I know everyone's like, nobody thinks like me. I'm like, you know, but I really don't feel like I physically see things the way other people do. When I'm looking at people's faces, I'm blocking it out in color shapes. So it's like when I'm looking at someone, I'm like, oh my God, I hope they don't say something about me staring at them. But I'm literally looking at how I would paint it and like the colors that go there. And it's like, genuinely like appreciating like everything that I look at because I can see all the colors that are in it. And like, it just, I get really sad when I think about people who like can't see color and things like that because like my mind is always like thinking in that way. Like when I look at something, I notice the color before I notice what it is. Like people's names, people's pictures in my phone are colors. Everyone's a color and their colors change based on how they make me feel because colors feel certain ways, you know? So color is such a big part of my life that really kind of shapes the way I make art and the way like I express what I'm seeing to other people.
What color would you see him?
Look, I have a party. I have a party trick. Don't let me break out the party trick because I feel like I'm really good. I'm really good at like reading people's auras, like the color that they feel like. And so
let's do that. Please tell us.
Please.
I really feel like you have like a greenness, like an emerald green.
I love green.
You do? Okay.
Green is my favorite color.
Really? It's like an emerald green. It's not like a lime green. It's like a rich green, like almost like a grass.
I got so much green stuff in my closet. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's my favorite color. Like in all aspects of life.
You should look up like what green aura means.
Oh, do you know what it means?
No, I'm not top of my head. I'm not that deep with it, but I like.
I can look it up.
Look it up.
So no, that's interesting because What color are my eyes right now?
That's what I'm about to say.
Oh my God. Here you go.
But I was green yesterday.
I was like blue.
No, they like blue today. I was green yesterday. I felt certain. I felt that aura. I thought it was
I mean, people change all the time. Like one day someone will be like blue on my phone and then they make me mad and they got to go to red. I don't, it just reminds me of like, when I don't know how they did it when you were in like elementary school, but in kindergarten they had like this color chart and you can get it flipped from green, yellow to red, like depending on how you acted. I still do the same thing with people and their colors in my phone.
What's that called? Red flag.
Yeah, like honestly, if you become red, brown, black, like I'm gonna delete the contact because I don't need to associate with that.
Yeah. So speaking, going back to kind of the starting when you were young, my cousin who actually passed away 3 years ago was huge into art, and I felt like it was just something he would do to kind of just like relieve his mind from everything else. He would randomly pop out and with this drawing. Like, bro, when did you even have time to draw that? I've been with you all day. He's like, I've been working on this for a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? So how does art translate to you as far as like your mental, if that makes sense?
That's a really big thing because I go through phases where I don't paint at all. And it seems like I do to other people because like social media is on a delayed. For sure. What someone is seeing that I'm doing right now is something I did or got months ago. So it's like I go weeks without painting if I don't feel good. Like I'm not one of those people that I'm going to paint through it. I'm going to, use this as like a way to, escape how I'm feeling. I refuse to paint if I'm not feeling good because a lot of times if I'm doing a commission, I feel like I'm putting this like negative energy into this work and so it's going to go to someone else. And whether they know that was like how it was made or not, to me, like I always just have that negative connection with that piece. So I don't like to paint when I'm upset. It's kind of hard when I'm working on like a big mural project because it's like, what am I doing? But I will literally go out there early and sage and just get my mind right because I feel like people can really feel that. So art for me is like my comeback from feeling like so down. So like when I'm in a good mood and I'm feeling great, I will like draw out like 5 canvases, paint them, do all that and prep them. So then when I'm like, oh, I'm starting to feel bad again. I need to like take a few days off. I need to like, I don't feel bad when I feel better again because I have something immediately to go to. And then it's like a cycle. It just goes back and forth. So then it's like I finish a painting. Oh, I'm sad again. I'm putting out a painting. And it's like, but I always have something lined out. So it's always constant.
Have you ever had like those blockers where you can't figure out what you want to paint?
Absolutely. And then I just started doing random stuff. Or I think in a time when I had like a blocker and I didn't know what to paint, I just started painting myself. Cause like, what do I need to work on right now? Me. So what better way to work on myself than to paint me? Because there's a lot of self-reflection that goes into looking at yourself constantly.
And a plug on that though too. You did an amazing portrait. It was an inspiration of Mona Lisa.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna post that.
We gotta show that too. I was like, man, you still got that one?
I do. I actually painted that like 2 years ago. And then I just like was cleaning out my art stuff and I found it and I posted it and people were like acting like it was new. I'm like, I did this a long time ago.
I did it 2 years ago.
Hey, great work never gets old.
Thank you.
No, I was just saying like, I think that's pretty cool because like everybody has their own way of like getting through certain things, right? So like some people go for a run. Not me, right? Some people like you paint yourself, you figure out how to get through that. Me, I actually just like to just sit down and think, right? So like, I actually think more, which is probably not the greatest thing, but it helps me, right? And everybody's different in their own way, but, no, I think that's really cool. But really quick, I looked it up. The emerald green aura, right?
Oh my God.
Greens are some of the most powerful, strong, and attractive people around. They're the stars. People adore them. The rest.
Wow, man.
The rest of us centuries.
We got
charisma. Bro, chill. It also says I'm thoughtful, I'm compassionate, and I really like helping others.
But you said that last.
Oh, Lord.
You Cancer too.
Exactly. I'm a Cancer, so I ain't crazy. I like to help people. You know what I'm saying? So,
See, it applies though.
It does.
I like it. Shout out to
Shout out.
So here's another question I have. Is there a time limit on great work?
That's a good question.
Is there a time limit on great work? So let's say, hey, this is my idea. These are my thoughts. Should I be expecting something back in 2 weeks, or you just like I'll let you know when I'm done with it?
If someone's like has like a project or something, I think it's about the communication on both sides with that, because you know, if someone wants something specific and I don't necessarily want to do it, I'm probably going to do it fast. Because I want to get it out the way. So they better tell me everything that they want right then and there, because that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm not adding no frill. I'm not. So, you know, the timeline is what you give me. Yeah. But if you're like, hey, artistic freedom, do what you like, whatever, I'm going to, you know, take my time. I'm going to think a little deeper into it. I may ask for an extension on the project if I'm really into it. But I think it just comes down to like, what is the person or client, whoever, expecting. Because there are levels to it. Like, if you want something rushed, you're going to get something rushed. If you tell me take my time, I'm going to take my time. So it just depends.
So what do you prefer somebody to say? Take your time?
Artistic freedom.
I want someone who knows what they want.
Yeah, that's big.
But then let me have artistic freedom within that.
That's
you know, like trust me to do what I say I'm going to do, but tell me exactly what you want so I don't have to make up everything.
I just took a mental note because, as you can see, I'm kind of bare.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Listen, I'm a little bare on the court, but I'm about to go crazy. I got a lot of stuff I need to do, so we'll get that done. I took that done.
That's big. I can relate with that, man. Being in the photography, the media space, man. If you got somebody, a client that knows what they want and allows you to be creative, but they know their ideas and everything, it really helps you to be able to.
Oh, I love working with corporate people because they don't ask questions. They don't ask any questions. One, because they don't know what questions to ask. They're not artists. They're not usually not the most creative people. So they're trusting that I'm giving you X amount of money. You're going to do what you do with it. I love working with PGA. I love working with Hornets. I love working with like these companies. Like, they don't ask questions. They you know, trusted that I was going to do what I said I was going to do. And I did, you know, so those type of relationships, I wouldn't mind working with them again. But, you know, it'd be these like small people, like small businesses or small like projects, and they like ask questions every like 2 hours. And I'm like, do you want this or not? Because I'm about to refund you. Like, I'm tired and I don't have it in me. And I know someone else who likes questions because I don't. So.
No, that's cool.
That's awesome. So that just kind of define like the type of work you do, you know? And like I say, when we found out you were coming on, I kind of scrolled the Instagram page a little bit, and I was like, John, she really painted this? And he was like, bro, yes. And I'm just like, dude, so you do amazing work, like amazing work.
The other thing I was going to say too, because I like to know the weird stuff. I don't know why I just what's the craziest thing you felt like somebody said, hey, I want you to paint this, or like something like that you're like, oh my gosh, I got this crazy. I mean, within reason, but
I think people know not to talk to me crazy. Because I'll just not respond. So they really don't ask for super crazy stuff. I think in the beginning of doing commissions.
Like a cool thing or something, you know, so whatever.
Sorry.
No, you good.
People who want portraits done, and then they send me pictures that I'm like, of all the pictures you have of this person, that's the one you pick, because I mean, to each their own, but that's the one you pick. You don't got another one? And then they're like, no, I want this one. I'm like, okay. And they're like, well, can you put my country's flag in the back? And can you put this in the front? And then can you and it just gets tacky real fast. And I'm like, are you sure you want that? And then at some point I have to be like, I can't do that. Because like the ideas that some people come up, I'm like, oh, you don't have the vision. You don't really have any vision. You just want stuff. Like, and then at some point, they want the idea of having a piece of art, and then I make it and I'm like, oh, this is awful. And I send it to them and they're like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of why I've like eased off of doing commissions and doing like custom pictures, and like, I raised the price because I'm like, you really got to want this to get it, because I really don't want to do it in the first place, you know?
As you should.
Because it just weeds out a whole lot of people who don't know what they want.
So speaking of vision and, you know, the direction that you want to go, like, what do you like to paint? Like, what, what's in your repertoire? Like saying like, oh yeah, like, I'm going to go this direction because this is what I want to paint. Like, even if you're just doing stuff, you know, straight off vision or just being artistic, like, what area or niche you like to kind of look at?
No, really, I do like to paint.
I was going to ask you how many portraits have you of yourself? Because you said when you're feeling down, you like to paint pictures of yourself, obviously, because you know what you need to work on and whatnot. So that was my question that I wanted to ask. Like, how many portraits you have of yourself?
So we got a question real quick.
I think maybe like 5 now.
Okay.
But then even when I'm like painting paintings that don't have my face in it, I'm still using me as a model because people don't pose the way I want them to, or they don't see the vision. They don't, what I see in my mind, I can't always direct someone to do. And I get really frustrated really fast with like, okay, now I'm wasting my time because it's still not coming out the way I want it. So I really like painting like the body, human figure. I always say I hate painting hands, and yet somehow all the paintings have like hands like pointing or something. So maybe I low-key like painting hands. I kind of like feel challenged though. I think like if I look at the drawing that I've drawn and like it looks hard, or I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like kind of freaking out because I don't know if I can do this. Those are the ones I like to do because it's like,
so you like the challenge.
I like to challenge myself.
That's dope. Halfway through another amazing episode of the Humble Brag Podcast. We hope that you're enjoying the show. I got with me today the OG Beard Butter and the OG Souffle, 2 of my favorite products from Sauce, and they have some more amazing products on their site. Definitely check them out. Link below. Don't forget to use the promo code Humble Brag. Now back to the show. Peace.
I know coming out of when you graduated and whatnot, social media was like a big thing. How was that with, I guess, the direction of your work? Because how we view social media, how we view people online is different. And you have, I believe, an interesting take on how we actually perceive people online and how that actually goes. Like, so how big is social media now in influencing your work?
It's so crazy because when my senior show to graduate, you got to do like a body of work with the final show. And I took pictures off of Instagram to kind of talk about, you know, how people just put whatever on the internet, not realizing how people are going to perceive it or put it together or imagine it. And I had the show and it's crazy. Someone's parents came in and took mine down off the wall because they felt like they were like too provocative.
Oh, wow.
So it's crazy that you say this now because time has definitely passed. Social media has changed and grown, and people put even worse stuff than I was painting on those. Like, you know, I won't say worse, but whatever. People like what they like. But I'm not really like a very extroverted person. I know how to talk to people when I have to talk to people, but for the most part, I've always been very like quiet. I'm not shy, but I'm very like to myself. So even like posting on social media when I started to paint again, because after I graduated, I didn't paint for like 2 years. I was like, I need to work, like forget this art degree. I got to make money. Like all my friends are getting like these high paying jobs and I'm just here like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't want my parents to like feel like I wasted their time. Like, I don't want to, you know, so when I got back into it and getting on social media, I started painting celebrities. And I was like, well, let me put myself next to it. Cause maybe if people can associate the art with the artist, you know, they'll be like, oh, that's cool. And so that kind of blew up from there. And it was like, suddenly, like, I felt like I always had to like have myself on there, like post myself.
Definitely.
I'm not big on like social media. I actually hate social media. Like the only reason I'm on there is because of the art. I promise you.
Y'all check her out though. She popping on there.
So like, I mean, you know, time to time I try, but for the most part, it's just like social media will really stress you out if you let it. I think I try to just stay in my own lane. I don't look at a lot of artists' art. I have like favorites. Usually it's people who don't do what I do. Because constantly looking at people who do the same thing you do is going to stress you out. And then you look at it too much and then your work starts to mimic theirs. And then it's like, I don't want to ever feel like I'm copying someone because I don't want to ever feel like, oh, they stole mine, you know, because that happens like subconsciously or consciously. And then you start to feel some type of way. So I just kind of like, but it's really hard to like, have like a persona, I'll say, for social media because I feel like a lot of times like I'm trying to separate myself from the art, but my art is my brand. And then people see me and then they like assign me a personality based on my art. And then they meet me in person and I'm not that person. And so then it's like a whole bunch of like clashing. And then I go home and I'm like, stressed out because I'm like, they don't even know me and they're not trying to get to know me and I don't even know me, which is why I'm painting what I'm painting. But people aren't even like reading it as that. And I'm telling them this is who I am. And they're like, no, you're not. And I'm like, So it's just like a whole bunch of like, I think people think when you have a large following or you get a lot of likes on pictures or whatever, you get these things that you become some like mega person in your mind, like main character syndrome. And for some people, maybe, but I know for myself and a lot of artists, it's a very like conflicting place to be because it's like my art is so much of me, but y'all don't even know me. It's hard to like explain that.
Yeah, they have a skewed vision of like who you
very
are.
Skewed, very
skewed. For sure.
So as an artist, do you feel like you're always under a lot of pressure? Or you kind of like take the pressure out of it and just paint?
I feel like I put myself under pressure.
Okay.
I stress myself out more than I probably should. I overthink a lot.
Which makes sense.
You know, I'm like, to me, my art is very personal. Like it's something I'm literally going through or trying to explain or express. So like I'm posting it and I'm like, what if they hate it? But I love it. So it's like, again, the conflict is always there. It's like, I feel like it's stressful when, I know a certain group of people follows my art or likes my art. It's like, I know a lot of young girls follow me. I want to be out here shaking a little ass from time to time, but I can't like, you know, because to some people, I may be their role model, you know, and like, a lot of older women follow me and it's like, my mama follows me and I'm like, you know, I shouldn't care, but I do. And I remember someone asked me before, they're like, who are you waiting on permission from? And I was like, what do you mean? They're like, who are you waiting on permission to like be yourself? So it's like, I'm really trying to work through that now and kind of like putting to the side, like these people that follow me, these demographics, these groups and just trying to be more myself. But in the back of my mind, I'm always like under pressure because a lot of these people that do follow me, they pay my bills. So I have to kind of always keep that balance, you know.
Give yourself permission.
Give myself permission to like, you know what, if they don't like this, then whatever, because I want to do it anyway, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
That's crazy.
You got the chance to mentor about 7 different people, right?
Yeah.
How was that? What's that experience? And just talk to us about that. And also, like, how big is mentoring? And is that a way of paying it forward for things for you to be able to see people that may be in the same situation as you before, and now you're able to kind of coach them up from an artist perspective? So
it was very eye-opening. I felt like a big sister for like a couple weeks. The Arts and Science Council had gave me a grant to do a project where I was mentoring 6, 7 upcoming like oil painting women in Charlotte. And so I went through and I like chose some girls and I was like, wow, they came in for the first like class and they're painting like so well. I'm like, y'all lied to me. Y'all know it. Y'all lied to me. Y'all just wanted to, you know, be here. But it was really great. Like there was times like I would be so emotional because I would see them in places that I once was. Like I remember myself being there. Or I remember myself like really wanting to be seen, to like have my art out there and just to be able to, you know, help them through that, whatever capacity it was. Cause each person, you know, I have a different relationship with each of them. But it was just great to see, we had a final show and just see like, wow, like we really like, we grew, they grew. And like, I definitely am looking at, I'm like, wow, you remind me so much of me. Like I can't wait for like 5, 6, 7 years to see where you go because I just think when I was in their shoes, I wanted a lot of opportunities that weren't given to me. I would reach out to a lot of artists that I looked up to and they would not respond to me. I would say 90% of the artists I looked up to, I would reach out to and just like, be like, hey, like, how did you do this? How did you do that? And they would not say anything. And it's like crazy now because like in many ways I've like surpassed them.
They feel threatened.
So it's like, and then I'll meet them in person now and I'm like, deep down I want to be like, but like that's not in my character. So I'm just like, you know, I get it because I'm stressed sometimes too and I don't always respond. So it's like, to be there and be like, oh, I'm so mad. And then to be here and be like, I get it. You know, it's just back and forth with that.
You get to see both sides.
What you
got to say about that?
No, like I agree. I mean, I feel like the people, and I think we talk about this sometimes too, is just like, you always got to reach back and help others up, right? Because everybody's looking for that sense of direction. And, like as people right now, like I'm like, I would ask them a very specific question. Cause I want to know a very specific answer. And they're like, I don't get it, right? Like, I don't get the response that I need.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, you should just go try and do this. I'm like, no. I'm trying to skip. I'm trying to skip steps 1 through 5 so I can be at 10, right?
Yeah.
And like, it could be that, I don't know, they don't have time, whatever it may be, but that's why I always try to make sure, like, no matter how busy I am, I can always talk to other people. You know what I'm saying?
I always respond. If I don't respond to someone, it's because like it really doesn't need a response, or like they said something crazy, and I'm just like, I ain't gonna respond. You got to learn today, because that's not how you're gonna talk to me, you know. But I always respond because I just remember how it was, and it kind of makes me sad when people are like, "Oh my God, thank you for replying," and I'm like, well, why wouldn't I? Yeah, but then I think that there are people who really aren't that nice. So,
so I know we kind of hit on a lot of different points, but like, what's like up and coming for you? Like, cause, you know, I've seen like, you know, you won some like first place in some of your shows and everything. Like, what's going to be like a next step for you? I guess as you, like in your grand scheme of things.
And also plug, you are a featured artist in gallery for the Brooklyn Collective. Okay. And Charlotte, big right now at the time of this recording. So definitely that's pretty major. So definitely talk to us about what you have going on.
So I have a few collaborations coming up, for Black History Month, Women's History Month. I have a mural coming up that will be in Optimist Hall. We're working on a Picasso project with the Mint Museum. So there are different artists have different walls throughout the city that will be part of, you know, this kind of whole exhibit. So I think maybe like a week or two, I'll be starting that one. And then after that, I'm starting another big project. I can't really speak on that, but it's a really, really big project. It's for Women's History Month. It'll probably be one of like the largest murals I've done. And it's just highlighting different women from history, which is really great. So I wasn't expecting that. And then this summer, I really don't know what's going to happen in between April and June, July, but this summer I'm doing a tour again with Modelo. So they'll be in Charlotte. And so it's like a custom shop. So I'll be like creating different graphics that will be going on shirts, and then like they'll have different locations where we'll customize them. So
that's huge. Congratulations.
I'm trying to get into like more galleries too. So I have a few studio visits coming up. Galleries are really my main goal, but you know, murals are what make the money. So you know, I'm trying to balance both and figure out
what's the difference. Like, explain the difference between that, because I have between a gallery and like a mural.
So it's really two completely different genres of art. You know, if you're a mural artist, you're more of like a street artist kind of. And then if you're in a gallery, it's more of like the fine art, like it's more conceptual. You have collectors who buy art. It can get into like a museum, which is like the ultimate goal. But there's just kind of like levels to it. I mean, you could make a lot of money as like a gallery artist. I'm not like a gallery artist yet, so I don't know how that works. But once you have like collectors who buy multiple pieces, anytime you make a piece, you have like, you know, that kind of like constant support. Like, you know, something's going to sell. I could put something in like a gallery and it may or may not sell. So that's kind of like the unknown. But with murals, it's like murals pay. Especially if you're doing corporate murals, it's like the difference between like 5 and 6 figures for one project. So it's like people really don't know what artists are getting paid, and that's why they treat artists the way they do, and they kind of devalue that as a career. And like, there is a difference between a starving artist and a working artist. It's a huge difference. And so it becomes very like, you have to explain to people a lot what being a muralist really is. So that's kind of like the difference between the two.
Yeah, that's why I was curious, because like I've heard it, right? Like, and you see, like, I used to live in New York, and I used to see some murals all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks great. And then you can tell, you can tell the difference because they be like, I'm like, oh, like, how much is this? And I sold. I'm like, oh. How long is it bigger? Like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay. But it's because they got the audience, and they, you know, the people want what they want. So
even back home in Greensboro, so I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. So we have a lot of like artists. It's like different art districts and everything. So that's really big. So
and that's how I kind of learned about art. Is like like, so I go down to Miami a little bit too, and the Miami art district, like it's like they have so like all this different type of art, and it's all over, like it's all over the place, like what you can basically get.
I went to Wynwood and I saw, I was like, oh my God, this was like the very beginning of my art career. I didn't even do murals at the time that I like went there, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. So definitely a goal. I definitely want to do more murals like around the U.S., not just in Charlotte.
So I picked up on something you said where you basically talked about when you finished school, you was like, I didn't paint for 2 years. I got to go out here and make money. Like I don't want to let my parents down, which I think is I think we kind of talked about this. So at what point did you say, you know what? Art is what I want to do. The money's going to come if it's something I love, if it's my passion. Like at what point did you say, you know what? Art is for me. Money's going to come. Like, cause you know, a lot of people get distracted following a passion that ain't really paying your bills. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, like a barber learning to cut hair, that's his passion, but it ain't really paying the bills. So,
and some of them barbers out there, hey, listen. Like, I have them for a reason. Listen, y'all need to come down on prices.
But seriously, at what point did you feel like, yo, art is for me? If I love it, the money's gonna come. Like,
I think there was like a breaking moment. You know, your early 20s are traumatic because you make them that way. And for me, mine were extremely traumatic. Like when my life trajectory didn't go the way that my friends was going, they were again getting those jobs, they were getting married, they were having kids, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like a hard record scratch. What is going on here? Like this is not my path, and I need to figure out what my path is, because trying to do what they're doing is not it, and it's making me depressed, and it's making me like feel like pressured. And it was like the more I put off doing art, the harder my life felt. The more I found excuses to like go to this full-time 24-hour job. And I knew I wanted to be painting because I'm over at my desk, like drawing and doodling. It like each inconvenience at work made me like just more and more on edge. Like I can't do this anymore. Like I literally cannot do this anymore. And it was like a summer came, and I was in between like working at the elementary school, and then I was like trying to do something remote because I was like, oh, okay, I can like paint and do this. No. And my mom was just like, quit your job. And I was like, and pay what bills? What money? Like, quit my job. What do you mean quit my job? You're talking crazy. Like, she's like, no, quit your job, and like, I'll help you. And so for like that entire summer, she like paid all my bills. Like she made sure like I was good. She would like check on me. I would drive home. I would drive home to Wilmington and just sit on the beach all day and just like, Kalin, like you got to get it together. Like, I don't know what you are doing. I don't know what you got to do, but you need to figure it out real fast because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And it was just like the moment I let go of like the full-time job, and the moment I let go of like trying to have like perfect relationships and like perfect friendships and trying to be like perfect and have this life I thought I was supposed to have, like art just started to come easy. And it was like, I started to paint, and I just was like, I messed up my sleep schedule. Okay. I was up all night, until 2-3 in the morning painting, because I was like, I have to make this work.
You became an entrepreneur. I mean,
I was like, I have to do this, like under any means necessary. I have to do this because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I didn't know where it was going to go. I didn't see where I am right now for myself. I honestly thought it was like a huge shot off to even think I would ever do murals or work with the Hornets or work with anybody. Like I never, ever imagined that. So it was like the more I worked and like people were noticing it. And when I first started putting out those like portraits, like the shade room was picking me up like every week. And like, you know, they had we paint on Wednesdays, and it was like back to back to back to back. And it was like, I was putting out a new painting like every other week because I was going that hard. Like I was not sleeping. I was just like tunnel vision. Like I have to do this. Like there's no other option, because I either make it as an artist right now, or I did all that for nothing. I wasted that money. Like I went to school for nothing. So like, I think it was that breaking point of that summer where I just like lost my shit. I was like, Kalin, like you can't do this. Like you have to be somebody. Like you left Wilmington to be somebody. Like do it.
Do it. Yeah. That's dope. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. For like, a lot of people don't find that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't find that in life. They don't find that thing that they can just work on consistently day in, day out and be able to, man.
I'm grateful for my mom. Like every time I get an opportunity to thank her, shout her out, or like she would drive 3 hours for every show I had. Every show. That summer, you know, she took care of me. Like I would be like, Mom, like I'm a broke artist. I need painting materials. And she would send me like money. I'm like, Mom, that's too much. She's like, no, like you need to make art. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy because I literally wouldn't be where I am without her help.
That's wow.
And a lot of people, parents, they don't support art. Like I know a lot of friends, if they went home and told their parents they wanted to be an artist, they'd be like, get out of my face. You're like playing in my face. Get out.
And, you know, I think it's like you said, it's because I think it takes first of all, you got to be serious about it. Second of all, it takes a while it does take a while for your name to get there because you got to create art, right? It's not going to be it's not like you jump into it, I'm going to make income right away. It's like creating podcasts, right? Like, like you're not going to start out a podcast and have an instant following. Like, I don't care who you are. I mean, and then that's the thing that, you know, we got to realize too, is like, you know, we're going to grow as we grow, but if we like doing it, we got to keep doing it. That's what we do. Right. And so it's the same thing being an artist. And it's so funny you said it because like somebody who wants to do history, if they go home and tell their parents they're going to be a history major, I mean, they can be like, oh, what are you going to do? What is that going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's sad though. That kind of like, it's kind of like a slap in the face. Like, this is my passion, but you pretty much telling me like.
A lot of people really give up like prematurely because they don't have that support. You know, as an artist, you get to year 5, year 6, and you're not selling art and you're like, I'm a failure. And that's honestly the time that a lot of people stop. And when I tell people I've been painting for like 10, 11 years, they're like, well, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm really not that old, but like it took me a very long time. It's only been like the last 3 years that like I've really like been on the up. Like I was honestly a broke artist for a long time, but like social media will make you think that people have it together based on how they look or they carry themselves. And again, it's these stories that people put together of you, you know, and you kind of have to play into that. So imagine being an artist and not having, but people think you do. So you have to keep that up. And it's like,
well, and I think the other thing too is like, speaking of social media, like you can, if people go on social media right now and look at your social media, they're like, oh my gosh, she's brilliant. And it took her no time to get there. But you just say you did it for 10 or 11 years. Like, that's a whole, that's a thing, you know, that's a minute.
I seen that you mentioned that 2022 was like one of your most fulfilling years. Talk about that. And like what made that signify last year? And then how do you continue to have that happen for this year?
Off that,
I think, you know, during like COVID and all of that stuff, I had the most sales I ever had. I guess people were at home. People were at home and they just had money to spend and didn't have anything else to do. I mean, they were still working. So they're like, let me buy some art. Let me do this. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. So, you know, I had like more time to kind of work on my skills and work on different projects and work on stuff I hadn't really thought about before. And then previous to 2022, I applied for Art Pop Street.
That's why I've seen a lot of
I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but they are the ones who gave me the billboard. I actually had multiple billboards and I had like advertising across the US for a year. So that alone, like having my art in the airport, having like, it kind of took off because it's like, I mean, people see that and they're like, wow, billboard. And I see it. I'm like, oh, that's me, you know? And it's just so crazy to like how it kind of just snowballed after that. And it's literally who you know, making connections, networking. Like I was just picking up stuff left and right. And I was like, it literally just happened overnight. So it's like, I don't know how to explain it. And I think I'm still kind of like adjusting to it because I'm not someone who painted to get exposure. I painted and people just happened to like it. So then they came. So it's like, I wake up and like all these people are talking to me and I'm like, what do you want? Like, I'm not even, I haven't even connected why you're here. Like it hasn't even like come together in my mind yet. So I'm like still adjusting to that, you know, and still trying to be like genuine and kind and be the person I am, but also like aware that like, you know, it's not what it used to be.
That's very
came out in 22, like New Year, New Me.
No, really.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a different type of price.
But it's like all the stuff that I got in that year and all the stuff I've gotten this year has been like years in the making.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, people see it now and they think that it just happened. But anything that I post or show is really like months old.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I can finally like talk about it now. I can finally show proof of it now. Like this mural was planned months ago, but I can finally show it now. So it's just like constant. Like there's stuff I still like have going on now that I can't even remember that in a few months you're going to be like, why'd you talk about that on the podcast? Like, I forgot.
No,
I don't know.
It does. And
It definitely be like that.
all this is definitely dope. As we wrap up though, I do
have one random question.
Okay.
He has a random question.
How does music tie into your painting? That's just been a question I've been wanting to ask you. Like, do you like just crank out music and just paint? Do you have like soul music you listen to? Like what gets you in that element?
Do you even listen to music? What's the Kalin? Hold on. What you said music though? Do you listen to music?
It's probably going to crush your soul, the answer I'm about to give you. I paint in silence.
I was
so that's my answer.
That's my answer.
I paint in complete silence because I feel like that's the only time I get to like hear my thoughts. I get to like talk to myself and like figure it out. Cause like, you know, when I'm painting, like I'm not necessarily sad, but I'm like thinking through a lot of stuff. Like it's the only time where my phone is on silent and people aren't around me and people aren't talking to me and I'm not like distracted that I can like work on like what I'm like dealing with. Like
that's dope.
I literally just need to, I think everyone needs to just sit in silence. And at first it's awkward and it's like, you know, we don't really know where to start. And it's like, I'm really in here hearing like crickets and stuff, but like it's a form of meditation for me because it's like, that's my time, you know? So, I mean, music does, you know, sometimes I'm listening to music and I'm like, no, like, I do like to drive a lot. So I'm in my car and I'm listening and like, I'll like see the images of things that I want to paint. And so it does come together like that. Like, oh, this kind of, and I have like Photoshop tabs going on in my head all the time induced, you know, by the music. But when I'm actually sitting down to do it, it may be silent. I may even have the TV on, but on mute just to like have it going, but I literally can't hear anything or I'll get distracted.
Yeah, it differs for different people. That's editing and things like me. When I'm editing, I'm not listening to anything. I'm locked in.
Yeah.
Also, one thing that you mentioned about just different things that you don't know how this has came. That's all a part of just, I think of life like we're like the little ripples, you know, and the different things that you're doing.
The universe.
They have ripples that you're not going to see yet.
Yeah.
And when they do come, you just accept them for what they are, you know.
Yeah.
And
I just try to let things flow. There was a period of time where I was trying to control everything, but putting my fingers and stuff, they didn't belong, just messed it up more. So now like, I just try to let it go because the opposite is like turmoil, it's stress. It's like you're blocking whatever is going to happen regardless from happening when it's supposed to happen, but it's going to happen. So you might as well just let it go ahead and slide through and like feel whatever is making you feel right then and just let it go because there's more important things to be focused on. Like, you know, there's always more things. And if you let that one little thing, like, take away your mind, you're going to lose the vision. You're going to be out of your lane and like nothing good comes from being out of your own lane.
So speaking of that, so like, what's your, like, as you wrap up, like, what's your top 3 things, I guess, that you live by, you know, like that you value?
Yeah. I think number 1 is grace.
Grace.
Yeah, grace is like a huge thing to me. And it's not always just like being a good person and just like letting stuff go. And like, it's really just forgiving yourself for like things you're holding against yourself. It's forgiving other people. It's not dwelling. You know, when you're dwelling on stuff, whether others did or you did it, you're not allowing grace. You're not allowing it to just be, you know? So grace is just like a major thing that I live by. Even my bio is like, wherever life plants you, bloom with grace because like you have to. Consistency. And it doesn't mean doing your craft or doing what you do every day. It means like just sticking with whatever it is for whatever amount of time. Like you can take breaks, but like, don't forget to go back to it. Don't let it, cause if I had just like stopped doing art when I was sad, or just stopped doing art when I thought I needed to get a real job, you know, I would have lost my like, the consistency wouldn't have been there. I wouldn't be where I am. So it's like grace, consistency. And I think just like confidence. I've like always been like a super like to myself, kind of like quiet person. And I didn't always have the confidence to like believe that I would be here. And I think if I had believed in myself a little earlier and trusted myself and like, you know, not waited on permission from other people to be whoever it was that I was supposed to be, I think I maybe would have arrived at my destination a little quicker. And then even now, like, knowing that what I'm doing is like me, you know, being confident in that, being solid in it, not letting it change just cause like, oh, this person's coming up on this idea or this person's coming up on this idea and I need to change it in order to, you know, no, what I'm doing is good and it's great and it's me and people are going to love it. And if they don't, oh well, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I'm confident in where I'm supposed to be. So
I like that,
you know, grace, consistency, confidence.
Hey, y'all heard that, right?
Yeah. Wow, that's big.
I hope y'all take it. That's deep. That's deep. So do you feel like you reached your destination?
No. I don't even think I've peaked yet.
Talk about that then. She started the car. What's like the next things though? So like we talked about the amazing things that you've done. You got some things that's going to be happening this year too. What is like long term? Like what you feel is like, man, I've arrived.
Yeah. I feel like I'm still like a baby artist. Like I'm not even like a teenager yet in the art world. Like I haven't even
hit those pinnacles.
I know. I'm just now starting. So like, and I know it's true for a lot of artists, like the real, like big things come like later in your art career. Like a lot of great artists are like, in their later years of life. And, you know, that's fine for me. Like, I'm enjoying the journey. You know, I'm on the elevator dancing to the music. Like, you know, I do. But I really want to be in museums. I want to be in galleries. I want to be, you know, those artists that like, my like grandkids and my like nieces and nephews, like I want to be the one that they learn about, you know, I want to be the one to change something. I don't know what that something is yet. Or even in Charlotte, I just want to be one who creates opportunities for women and men, whoever, but specifically women who are in the place that I was in. And when I wasn't feeling like I had the tools or resources or help, like I want my own community to, you know, feed into. There's just so many ideas that I have of things I want to do that to say that I have even like gotten close to reaching the peak of where I am is insane to me. Like, I can't even say that because I'm not even close. So I think there's just so much more to go. I think I'm going to look back on like an interview like this years from now and be like, yeah, you had the vision, like you knew. Like, I know that I'm not there. I know that I don't know everything I need to know. I'm still learning.
You gotta enjoy the journey, you know, it's gonna be a journey. You gotta enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm just letting it happen. But yeah, the goal is galleries, museums, maybe to be like a professor one day and like, you know, just like really give back, like a master's, a PhD in painting. I don't know even if that's like possible, but
that's coming.
You know, it's coming.
That's coming. That's awesome. Hey, well, listen, y'all all gotta go tap in. We'll make sure we put all her information below. Y'all be able to see that. Go ahead.
All the different things that you have going on.
For sure. Shows, all that. We gotta go check that out. So you got supporters in us, so we definitely there for sure.
I appreciate it.
We don't want to make this just a one-time thing.
You're
a part of the family. THB.
We're gonna bring you back on a few years.
Yes, now do it.
Where you at now? Like boom.
Do what I said I would.
And also, we like to make deals on THB, so we're gonna give you an idea, and hopefully we can be.
We're gonna get our own little Picasso. The THB.
We gotta come with the ideas and everything.
Oh no, we're gonna know what we want. I took no joking in my mind.
First, number one, know what you want.
Understand where you're going, you know? I wrote that down. I gotta get some stuff in here too. It's kind of bare. Anyway, what you think about the wine?
I like it. I've been like talking, so I'm like, dang, I need to catch up. Y'all are like,
we some quick sippers.
No, it's good. I like it for sure.
There you go.
What would you rate it? 1 to 10?
1 to 10?
No, let's stick to 1 to 5.
1 to 5. Sorry, 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
The THB score, you know.
Y'all put me on spot. Okay, so for what it is, not based on my preference.
Okay, time out. We're gonna change it. Okay, wait, hold on, stop. Boom. Y'all do 1 to 10 or 1 to 5?
1 to 10.
1 to 10 gives a range.
That's our score. 1 to 10.
Okay. So I'm gonna let you say. You can say what you're gonna rate it, and we'll go from there. All right.
Okay.
Give it 2 seconds.
All right. So what's your rating 1 to 10 on the wine?
The THB score.
No pressure.
I'm gonna give it a 7.8.
Ooh, okay, 7, 8. I like that. I like
See,
that.
she knows what she wants. She knows what she likes.
You know what she like. I like that.
Okay.
You didn't hold no punches on that one.
I ain't gonna lie. It's got me a little buzzed.
Facts.
14%.
It's 14.8. I just read the bottle again, kind of make sure. That's what's up. It was great having you on, and like you said, you got fans in us. I'm telling you, like I've been trying to get into art, so I'm gonna hit you up if I need some art advice.
Look, I'm an art nerd, low key. I could go on about it all day. So
he's gonna be the one you don't.
At least I'm gonna know what I want when I call it. I'm looking for this art piece.
As long as you have a plan.
I always got to.
So for sure.
Let's do it.
We really appreciate you. Continue to operate in your gift.
Yeah.
Man, that's the one thing a lot of people, like I said, don't have. So you have yours, hone it, continue to grow with it.
Grace, consistency, and confidence.
Confidence.
You gotta be confident. Walk that walk. You know what I'm saying? If you can't walk that walk, you need to talk that talk.
Hey, man. Well, hey. Great episode, man. We're so glad to have you on. You guys remember the name Kalin Devone?
Yes.
Kalin Devone. When they first said her name, I was like, that name flow. That definitely sounds like an artist name. Kalin Devone.
Got that paintbrush written on.
Kalin Devone. So, hey, man, thank y'all for subscribing. Like it. Remember, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yes.
The Humble Brag Season 2, we are back.
Remember what I said? We hit 1,000 subscribers. That's about a big giveaway.
Yes, sir.
We may even give a giveaway from each of our guests. We don't even know yet.
That
would be great. That would be dope.
Hey, much love to everybody.
All right, much love. Humble Brag, we out.
Until the next one.
Woo! That wraps up another episode of The Humble Brag. We thank you so much for tuning in. Just a reminder, fellas, a beard is not made by accident. You got to make sure you take care of it, you groom it, and personal grooming all around is very, very important these days. Make sure that you're taking pride in that. Tap in with Sauce and all the amazing products that they have. Link below, and we hope that you all enjoyed the show. Use the promo code HumbleBrag during checkout. We thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.